we can go out there, we can make life multiplanetary, understand the universe, find out what's going on. Maybe the aliens will come visit us. Maybe they are here right now. I don't know.
When you say what are the aliens, what do you mean?
Where are the aliens? Like, why don't we see them?
But on this Earth, the U.S. military has had to do a lot of maneuvering around objects they can't explain.
Well, unidentified flying objects is one thing, but I mean, there's always a bunch of classified programs that are underway of new aircraft and new missiles and things. So that are classified even within the military. So it's only if you have the top secret compartmented clearance would you know about this new program. So then some pilot sees something moving fast and says, "Hey, I saw a UFO." I'm like, "Yeah, that was actually a new weapons program, but we can't tell you that." But if you can guarantee that the split second I see any evidence of aliens, I will immediately post that on the X platform. And it'll probably be our #1 post of all time.
That'll be your biggest day,
yes.
For sure.
I wonder, Ross, Elon Musk, I want you to react to him real quick. He was speaking earlier this week, the Milken Institute, big event, and I want to get your thoughts on the other side.
I've not seen any evidence of aliens, and SpaceX with the Starlink constellation has roughly 6,000 satellites, and not once have we had to maneuver around a UFO.
What would you say?
Okay, there was a delicious scandal in England in the 1950s, Blake, when a young woman was accused of having an affair with a British politician, and he categorically denied it. And Mandy Rice Davis said, well, he would say that, wouldn't he? And let's be honest about it, if Elon Musk had been briefed into a UFO crash retrieval program, and if he had been told by the Defense Department that his SpaceX contract was dependent on keeping it secret, I'm sure he would keep it secret. I am told, in fact, I've been told, not necessarily officially, but I've been told by people who are aware of what Elon Musk and SpaceX are up to, that he has been read into parts of the program. But at the moment, he's taking the position he's taking. Let's see how long that lasts for.
I've not seen any evidence of aliens, and SpaceX with the Starlink constellation has roughly 6,000 satellites, and not once have we had to maneuver around a UFO. Okay, so we were like, "Hey, what's that? Is that an alien? Has occurred never." So I'm like, okay, I don't see any evidence of aliens, and now look at it. If somebody has evidence of aliens in a that's not just a fuzzy blob, then I'd love to see it, love to hear about it, but I don't think there is. So, which is actually reason for concern, because you could, if any civilization in the Milky Way, in our galaxy, were to last for 1 million years, even with a speed of travel that's far below the speed of light, like a few % of speed of light, they could easily have explored and colonized the whole galaxy. So they haven't. So why not? I think the answer might be, or perhaps probably is, that civilization is precarious and rare, and that you should really think of human civilization as being like a tiny candle in a vast darkness. And we should do everything possible to ensure that that candle does not go out.
Good afternoon, Elon. As somebody who is directly involved in the pioneering of space travel, what is your perspective on the suppression of advanced technologies under UAP crash retrieval programs and other black projects such as Immaculate Constellation that have the potential to fundamentally change human society?
I'm not familiar with those programs, but I certainly think if there are technologies that can be helpful, the government's aware of it. We should obviously provide that technology to the people. So I should say that people often ask me, do I believe in aliens? I said, well, I was one, according to Homeland Security, until I got my,
It literally said alien registration card. I'm like, cool. But I mean, thus far, I have not personally, I'm not aware of any evidence for aliens on Earth. I'm not saying they're not here, but I have not seen any evidence for aliens. And for our Starlink constellation, we have never had to maneuver around an alien spacecraft even once. And we've got 6,000 satellites up there. So, I mean, they're very subtle, is what I'm saying, these aliens, you know. But I think if there's, like, I don't know, if there's interesting stuff that's, that the government's aware of, that American people would find interesting or useful, we should obviously make that known. We should publish it.
You know, people do ask me, you know, have I seen UFOs and aliens and that kind of thing? And I haven't. And I think I would have seen them by now. So it appears that we might be the only consciousness, at least in this galaxy. And if so, that's kind of a scary prospect, because it means that the light of consciousness is like a tiny candle in a vast darkness. And we should do everything we can to prevent that candle from going out. So, yeah. And so some of the things, so that means obviously taking the actions to ensure that Earth is good, that Earth is safe and secure for civilization. And I think it also means extending life beyond Earth to other planets in the solar system and ultimately to other star systems. And I think that's both a sort of defense of the light of consciousness and also I think a point of inspiration, because life cannot just be about solving one problem after another. We need things that inspire us. I mean, we need things that move our heart, and that when you wake up in the morning, you're excited to be alive. And being a spacefaring civilization and making true the things that we see in the good science fiction movies, this is one of the things that I think can inspire all of humanity. Just like when the astronauts went to the moon in '69, it was something that, I mean, they said for all mankind, and it really was something you say to any human on Earth. What's like the most amazing thing that humanity's ever done? At least one of those things would be, we went to the moon, and so you want to have these inspiring things that make you excited to be alive and excited about the future.
It's interesting, Joe, when I was on Joe Rogan's podcast last time, I mean, here, Joe was like, I think that they're extraterrestrials. He's openly saying that.
Yeah, it's not.
So you kind of
not the case.
Well, okay, or NHI, I guess NHI.
Yeah.
But I mean, here you and Joe are like the two big, most influential podcasters in the country, and you both think that it's not just a government secret tech, or that it's not just plasmas.
No.
And Joe's very close with Elon, loves Elon, like me, and I think probably like you, believes that Elon deserves a huge amount of credit for saving free speech in this country. Elon says there's nothing there, never sees anything, and they've got an amazing rocket system that sees a lot of things.
I'm not sure. I've talked to Elon about this a number of times.
Okay.
And I'm not sure he says that.
Okay, I thought he did say that.
No.
I thought he said if there's any aliens.
He jokes about it, which is a tell. Trump does too. And they joke in the same way. I mean, of course I love them both, obviously, and I feel like, I feel like they both have really been great for this country, net, as they say. But no, they joke about it in the same way that a lot of people joke about it. They're like, no, there are no flying saucers from Mars.
Right.
Well, of course, they're not from Mars. They're not from another planet. They're from here. They've always been here. These are spiritual entities. This is my view, and I sincerely believe it. Can't prove it. But since you asked, so I've never heard Elon say that's not true.
Be dismissive.
That there's nothing there. He just said, look, we monitor space. That's what they do, right? And this is self-evident. If there have been so many sightings in this country and around the world that if they were from another galaxy far, far away, there would be some satellite evidence of that. They'd be picked up coming into our atmosphere. And of course, that's not as far as I know.
Well, we do have some photos. I mean, there's that one photo of the one, I can't remember. It's in the James Fox documentary. So there are some of those, apparently.
Coming from space in here.
And certainly I've been told there's a lot more of those photos and images. But yeah, I mean, there's also... It would
not surprise me, though. I mean, it's clear that these things reside, deep in the earth, under the water, and in the atmosphere. I do think all the puzzle pieces are sort of in plain sight.
Did you ask Putin about it?
I did not ask Putin about it. I would never have done it on air. Mm-hmm. Because I did ask him a bunch of questions off camera about, he has access to, of course, he controls the Soviet archives, and the Soviets are great archivists. And we know that from the, couple of, I'm interested in Soviet leadership and government and all that stuff. There have been a couple amazing books written. The Court of the Red Tsar being, I think, the greatest of them, about Stalin, for example. And one thing you learn from reading the book is they kept records on everything, almost like the Nazis, like crazy level records. And, most of them have never been disclosed. So I did have some questions for Putin about that, about Rudolf Hess specifically. It's one of the great stories in history that doesn't make any sense at all. The number 2 guy in Nazi Germany flying into Scotland in a plane by himself and bailing out, right before the U.S. entry into the war, and had all these things to say that were wild. And one of the things he apparently said in his debriefs was he believed that Hitler was being influenced by demonic spirits that he had summoned through the occult. Huh? That's not worth knowing more about.
There's a lot of stuff on that.
There's a lot. There's a lot. But Hess said that. So I immediately asked Putin about that off camera. I didn't want to seem like a wacko having unauthorized questions, but I did ask him about that. He did not get a satisfactory answer. But I did not ask him about UFOs.